So for today's video I'm doing SUPERHOT, but underwater. SUPERHOT is a shooter game slash puzzle game where time moves when you move.
It was like our Fortnite in 2016.
I don't know why, but recently I've been wanting to make video games on water, and that's why the last video, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. We can watch it together. It is about Rocket League, but with boats. And for this video, I was coming across with this idea of how SUPERHOT would look if it was underwater, and instead of killing human enemies, you are against sea creatures. And to be honest, that is all. So let's begin by creating the project. I decided to use Unity's high definition render pipeline because it allows us to get some fancy lighting and as well to create volumetric fog that is going to sell the idea that we are underwater. Once having that, the first thing that I did was to create a volumetric fog and a ton of post-processing, because I didn't find any other ideas on how to come with the aesthetic of the underwater realm. And I'm not going to lie, it kind of looks similar. And then I decided to create a caustic effect. Caustics are patterns of light that occur when light is refracted and reflected from a surface. But the issue is that in deep water, there's no light. So I wasted a lot of time trying to come with this caustic effect. So after that, I decided to make the movement and camera system, and I based it entirely on the way it works in Skyrim.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody breaks the law on my watch!
And the thing is, the idea behind SUPERHOT is that time moves when you move. So I decided to do the slow motion system. Another thing that SUPERHOT does is the ability of grabbing and throwing your weapon. But before we make that system, I started to think about what weapon will we use for this game. But then I thought about using just the weapon that I made for Frostbite. Oh, Frostbite. I'm glad you asked. Frostbite is a video game that I'm currently working on. It's an isometric bullet hell based on the movie The Thing. You can check some of the devlogs after this video on my main channel. And after having the weapon on the scene, I just did the throwing and grabbing system. Afterwards, I started to think about what enemy could be cool to add to the game. And between all the sea creatures that are somewhat scary, I decided to use the jellyfish. And I got this model from Sketchfab. In the description you can find the credits for this model. And I decided to rig it. But after realizing that it will be time consuming, I decided to keep it as it is and put it inside the game. This jellyfish has a light, and this light goes up every time he attacks you. Oh, and as well I break it into parts, so every time you kill it, it breaks. And with the artificial intelligence done of the enemy, I just did the gameplay loop. So the idea is that every time you kill every enemy, the level is done. And once every level is done, SUPERHOT makes an animation with some sound effects of
SUPERHOT.
So I decided to recreate it from scratch with my own voice. Super hot! And with just a little bit of editing, it sounds like this.
Super deep.
And right away I started doing 3 levels and an endless version mode. You may say that I am a really good designer, but to be honest I just stole the 3 first levels of SUPERHOT. And you might say, well, you have everything, Emilio, right? Right? Well, no, because this game was intended to be posted on itch.io, link in the description. I just made a really fancy UI, of course referencing SUPERHOT's UI. And with that, we have a game.
Super deep.
I remember gamers. Roses are red, violets are blue. Go on and download my game.